is blustery, but it's shaping up to be one of the very best games of the year. This cutthroat final, the prelim final, and the right to play Port Adelaide. Belted down by Primus, and his battle this afternoon with Arnold will be significant. Big pack in the middle. And David, put your name to it. How many goals is the Breeze worth?
I'd suggest 4 goals this one. Very similar to last week, and Norwood have the use of it.
Primus, big thump forward. Not taken. Wakeland. Interesting to see where he's started. Certainly not at full forward, it would seem. Quick kick forward. Harvey was the player. Norwood with the Breeze. Well done. They get it to the flanks, and Central District will try to, and this time successfully, find the line.
Norwood into attack early. And they want to make full use of this Breeze. Primus. Smart in ruck at the moment. Coming back from injury. Nothing happening there, out of bounds again.
And Anthony Ingerson playing at full forward.
Being picked up by Daniels. Interesting move.
Smart again in front, beautifully done. Quick give to Dantokia. McIntosh backing up, throws onto his boot. And a beautiful punch from behind. Norwood crumbing very well at the moment. It's going to be tough and hard. And the side that wants to do that more often will undoubtedly come out on top.
Sam Smart goes into battle. Arnold, well done by Gurdon, read it from the front and then flees away from halfback, puts it to centre wing. The ball just holding up a little in the Breeze. And this bloke looms as the great difference between the two sides. He's all right, isn't he? Gets inside, a little shake of the hips. Whistle's gone somewhere, and a player's gone down. It's McIntosh. Now, Mac is saying it should be down the ground, and I agree with you, Gary.
And it is, but it's only down the ground where the kick was taken by Primus. The infringement was before Primus took the kick.
Big Matt hands it off towards McIntosh inside the 50-metre line once again at the back. It was Arnold who'd worked back okay. Central, you can bet your life they'll try and keep it wide and push it to the sides. Well done by McGowan. And back in the centre where he belongs, and so too Healy on centre wing, gets it up towards Cotton. Front spot, can't take it. Cook's there. One spare up the front is Ingerson. Ingerson will take it. A break, has a look at the front. Conway's there. In shorter is Green. Not quite, drops between the two of them. An ordinary kick from Ingerson, and it's cost him an opportunity. Green hands it off, threw it out actually. Well done by Potter. First goal for the Bulldogs.
Looks to me that Potter's picking up McIntosh, and what a battle that's going to be. But look at the kick by Ingerson. He had 2 players, Conway drifting back. He elected to go short. Green was the target. The kick missed its mark by, what, a good 10 metres or so. And the bounce was very difficult. I can tell you that this ground is wet underfoot, and the players are wearing sprigs, unusual for football park.
One straight goal, the Bulldogs. Redlegs yet to score. Arnold gets the tap. James on top of it, off the ground. And the reliable defender, Scott Lee, takes a beautiful grab, plays on quickly on the left, throws it out wide to Reimers, and takes it one-hander. And the Bulldogs starting confidently.
This is one of the most exciting big men in the competition. He hasn't done a pre-season for 3, and he still looks wonderful.
Reimers this way and that. There's the ball on a string. Very clever. Towards half forward. Miller was there, and I must admit I'm very pleased from Norwood's point of view to see him back at centre half back. This is McKinnon inside half forward. Central is starting well against the Breeze. Conway, Maynard at centre half back, shovels it forward, but Gurdon's there. The little kamikaze. He gets it out and goes short. Has a look at Peter Green. Now Green needed to take it, couldn't do so, and Norwood clear it and ultimately find the line.
A couple of interesting matchups. Fleming is actually picking up Ingerson. Daniels has got Conway.
And interesting to see that first goal for the Bulldogs. Fleming left Ingerson by about 30 metres. Backed his judgment, it didn't come off, resulted in a goal. McIntosh around the body. Stevens caught. Gurdon prominent early. The teamwork in McGowan just throws it in the air, and an easy mark to Matthew Primus. They're moving on quickly.
Really does loom as one of the big differences in the side. Ingerson and Arnold are going to have to control him. This is Irvin into the side today. Remember that Matthew Robran and Simon Cowan are out of the side. Well done, the agitator. Scotty Lee takes it to the halfback.
Best and fairest in 87 and 90 went away with the Crows. but that's the sort of play the Bulldogs will be looking for from him.
To a fellow Crow, Marty McKinnon. He's got some real polish, Martin. Last year against Norwood in the first semi, he was outstanding. And he's going to play a big part once again. The kick just holds up. The Colossus, Miller, front spot. Well done, Clements. Got it out to the growler. Like a little throw, but it still wasn't seen up towards Kim Russell and out of bounds.
Win very prominent early. Norwood not taking advantage. Really do have to get some slick movement through half forward. Get a good leg on the 50 to get their first score on the board. The throw-in, Smart does battle, gets his hand well to it. They'll bottle it up. And that man in there again, Girdham, on the bottom of most packs.
Interesting man up, Stephen. Reimers picking up Tyson.
Yes, you have the height, but you wonder about the leg speed along the ground, don't you?
Beautiful whip and shoulder by Rowden. And it's tough and hard. Stevens into the side. Another goal-kicking wingman for the Bulldogs. Along with Healy. The throw-in again. Smart doing well, resting ruck. Beautiful smother by Stevens. Oh, too high. It's a clumsy tackle by Dan Tokia.
McGowan's in the middle.
Just trying to pick it up, Stephen. I'm just working it out bit by bit. The players often shuffle around the first 5 minutes or so, but we've picked up that Reid is being picked up by Windsor. Russell looks to be playing out of a forward pocket. Now, so too is Irvin, and Irvin is being picked up by... Just trying to pick up who he is being picked up by. It looks like Wakeland.
And it looks like on screen we've got...
the McIntosh Potter one.
McIntosh Potter was always going to be on, wasn't it?
We announced that earlier, just after Potter kicked the goal. Now, that's the thing about Macca. He gives tremendous drive, but he can, just at times, be a little loose.
7 minutes into the prelim final. Port Adelaide sit in waiting. And one of these two sides, one of the big three, are going to go on to play Port Adelaide next week in the grand final. Great tackle by Girdham. It's an important goal for the Bulldogs against the Breeze early. Not only a confidence booster, but very important premium quality goals in towards this, well, I reckon it's 4 or 5 goal stiff southerly. Beautifully done by Smart out the back. Only fell into the arms of McGowan, though.
And I've picked up a problem already. Smart's doing the ruck work in the Norwood forward lines. Now, Brian Hereda, his direct opponent, is sitting in the middle of the ground. If Central get a quick movement out of that ruck contest, Hereda's standing 50 metres clear by himself.
Yes, good pick-up, David. Primus also sitting back. And you might think he head over there or get close enough to him. There's a bounce again.
Well, the whole thrust of that, isn't it, is to try and offset the Primus influence sitting back there and linking up through the midfield. So Central try and provide an option elsewhere. And if they leave him alone, he can be used. And perhaps if they use Primus, or Primus sits in the way, he can come over and cover him.
Smart again, Harvey. Nearly a good take. And the defence bottled up again. And, well, lying on top of the ball. Free kick for holding the ball. Gary McIntosh to take it. Bit of foreplay there. Macca to take the kick. Kick from about 70 metres to the head of the square. Got Miller, who's run down. One hand, and he's taken a beauty.
That's a ripper mark. What a mark. And look at Primus and Hereda on behind play too. There's no love lost there. But look at this mark. Desperation. That's great finals football. That's a team lifter, that mark. And is he fully fit, Michael? You're pretty close.
He is. Jason Miller directly in front. Will not miss and doesn't. Built through the Redlegs first.
Well, that's a comeback they needed, but it's 9 minutes in and they've got what we'd suspect to be a 4 or 5 goal Breeze. It's set up by McIntosh. We talk about the playmaker in this team. Well, he is the catalyst. But look at the defensive work. Scott Lee's there, so too Allures. It was 2-on-1. And Miller just stuck one big hand out. And with the Breeze at his back, made no mistake. And from centre half back, it's an indication of how this game's going to be played today. Both sides are running hard.
9.5 minutes have elapsed in the first term. And it's all square with a ledger. Arnold tried to get up there, but Primus just has too much height. Dan Tokia, quick kick forward. Critical now for the Bulldogs that they close it down, and Windsor got himself in the way, and Reid belted it towards the line.
Windsor, by his own admission, was pretty quiet last week. Didn't like the way he didn't take the ball cleanly. against the Magpies, and he's looking for a big one today.
What's more, he's come out during the week and said that he doesn't have the leg speed to go with Ashley Reid. Knows that he has to play in front. It's tricky on windy days to do that all the time. Hereda got it from Girdham. They've got to stop this Central District if they're going to get anywhere. He's got a little bit of aggro about him today, Matthew Primus. That could cost Central 25 metres. It doesn't. Primus rocks back. It still carries 50 in the breeze. Good mark. That is a very good mark by Reimers. Takes it and gives it off to the tater.
Scott Lee goes wide. Cotton it is. Terrible kick.
That was a poor effort by Green.
McCormack couldn't control it. Now Healy goes long. Cook all by himself. Will play on. Just goes short. Ingerson, can he get it? No, beautiful punch from Fleming. Miller will back up. Cannot control it. Too high was the call. Now play on. Clements with the ball. Straight down. No one in particular. Just drops it on his head. No chance. McGowan in the front position. Beautiful give to Girdham, then to Stephen. And Stephen drills to the centre forward position.
Right up to where Ingerson is lurking. So too is Primus. I think McCormack's claimed it. The umpire's waving his arms about. Play on. And a pack develops. Someone's going to be pinged.
McCormack, it's against McCormack. The umpire said he was over the top of it and he dived on it, and therefore it's his responsibility to get it out. And that is fair enough. We were critical of that last week. You drag it back in, it's your responsibility to get it out. He didn't do it. Now, Norwood fans won't be happy with that, but I reckon that's dead right.
As long as they're consistent, that's the second one to date.
Simon Lewis, who was so sorely missed last week when the Bulldogs kept breaking down across half forward, but he is the man. He competes very well at centre half forward. Miller is on the mark. A chance for a goal early. Head stays down, punches it into the breeze. It just fades away. And through for one behind. So 1-1 plays Norwood, who are 1 goal, 1 point the difference, and we're 12 minutes into the prelim final.
You suspect that the Redlegs haven't settled into their running game or using this breed. Centrals have got their numbers back and congested the Norwood forward line. It's worked pretty well so far. And look at this, with the breeze at your back, why would you go so short?
The kick intercepted. The Dogs a chance. Then they bottle it up and Girdham comes crashing in. The Norwood bench, Coach Neil Craig, Michael Flynn, fitness coordinator. Head-to-head this year, Norwood 2-1 after that victory at the parade, which is a washout. The bounce. Primes again with Conway. Girdham takes it out of the air. McKinnon, can he get it out? No, he can't. James Miller crashing through. It's going to be like that all day. It's those loose footies, if you can get out, get something going. Hit the square.
Pressure's right on Central District. So many cynics about town suggesting they'll get fired out in straight sets. This is Dan Tokia. So they'll know the heat's on, but it's also on Norwood to get through also. Well done by Reimers. First access to the foot. He couldn't do anything positive with it. McGowan will if he can get hold of it. And Harvey closes it down on centre wing. 1-1 to 1 goal.
Harvey ruck roving with McIntosh.
And you're right about Wakeland. He's picking up Irvin. And that is something of a surprise. Although, having said that, Wakeland last week was disappointing.
Well, the point is that Norwood have the breeze, and perhaps that was the plan, that Wakeland would go there. It is a strong breeze, and if Norwood had the breeze, Wakeland's a pretty handy player to have back in that zone, isn't he?
Arnold got a ride and gave the free kick away. Already Primus is influential. Big Matthew. A couple of kicks, a handball. But critically already, 4 tap-outs and 3 marks. And conceivably a 60-metre kick, and it drops straight into the arms of Samuel Smart. It's a good pair of hands by Sam.
Well, they've got some big man strength up there, haven't they?
Now he'll kick the distance here. He's going back and standing around about 20 metres back from the 50-metre line. When he kicks, he'll be just outside that coloured arc. Right on it, in fact. The kick carries, it carries, it carries, but it's just been touched. 1-1 apiece.
They're just having a look through the midfield there. McGowan is playing in the middle, but Jerry Dantokia, Michael, is picking him up.
Dantokia has played a bit of footy in the middle. As the kick out comes, and Scott Stevens takes what would say was a very clever mark in the end against Irving. The kick holds up in the breeze. The punch from behind. Tyson for his first touch. Scotty Lee wraps him up. Out of bounds it goes. And we're 15 minutes into the first term, 1-1 apiece. Not a bad start by the Bulldogs. Smart again, and Conway for a punch. Kim Russell can't take it. McIntosh just wraps him up. And another bounce.
Tried to put the pile driver on there, I think.
Well, there wouldn't be any love lost between Potter and McIntosh, as we see. A lot of pushing and shoving.
I think there might have been a backhander given at the bottom of all that. The sun's shining at Football Park as McKinnon dives in over a red leg. And as that red leg gets up, it's Harvey. 15 minutes in, and the Bulldogs have made a reasonable start against this gale. Comes out towards Russell, and he's gone for holding the ball. Scotty Stevens to take it from halfback. Spent an extraordinarily long spell in the reserves throughout the latter half of the year. Just look at that ball holding up, Reimers. Front spot was Dan Tokia. Well done by Reimers. Got it out towards Cotton. The one spare is Lewis. Inside, doesn't know that he's hot though. Gets it away with a kick. Having a look at Conway. The numbers are there for Norwood, but not for Central. Doesn't matter because Green, who should have taken it without the fumble, would have done something positive. Ingerson. Oh dear, they've missed it up. And Healy. Oh, butterfingers.
Well, that's just finals nerves, isn't it? It's finals nerves, and he's only a youngster. I thought the kick was terrific. Green had the opportunity, he had a fumble though. That's also final nerves. He just hasn't settled yet. Ingerson got it forward, and I think that's Healy's first touch, wasn't it?
Finals nerves cost you games, unfortunately.
James just throws them onto his boot. Miller's made good position, can't handle it over the top. And yes, one would think that may have been holding the ball. Fell on top of it, Simon Lewis. Not to be.
I guess, Michael, to be fair, it wasn't just the Healy error. Green made a blue, and so too did one before that, so they put a few together.
The bounce down. Smart in front position again. McKinnon takes it out of the air, off the ground. Hereda in front. We have to be the doggies. On fire at the moment. Now Growden. Got a loose leg, goes long. Got no one sitting back. Scotty Lee will just grab it as easy as you like, just steps around the Norwood opponent and goes for the line. And Scotty Lee.
We're 18 minutes in, Stephen, and we've only had 15 points scored for the match. Now, it's something that we knew. There've always been low-scoring encounters between these two sides, particularly this year.
Yes, every goal is going to be highly valued, no doubt about that. And you add the breeze to it, and it promises to be a very dour and bone-crunching, as people say, affair. What about Scott Lee a moment ago? We saw at the other end a few errors made, and the agitator just coolly walked around. A cool head worth plenty today. Healy to Miller. What's Roger done?
Oh.
Kept it in? No.
He got. I think he was maybe thinking about letting him have one, wasn't he?
No question about that.
McCormack just said, will I, won't I, no. He just held back.
And McCormack gives a few out.
Gets a few.
Oh.
Primus. He's having a good game. Healy's at the back. Unfamiliar on the right leg, but the structure's pretty good from the red legs. Miller sits back, hands off, and again they generate some attack from halfback.
Going long, McCormack. Huey Reimers does the body work, can't hold it. Growden, his second touch in as many minutes, beautifully smothered by Wakeland. Now Wakeland again from Reimers, goes around the body looking for Green, it'll hold up. Nearly takes a great grab, good effort, McIntosh.
Green's done his knee.
Now Norwood, he's hurt all right, just blasts away, wins it all by himself, all the time in the world. Goes to Huey Reimers, just going to fall right on top of the green at the moment. The umpires have to call it up, and they do.
Yep, the stretcher's going to come out. The trainers were calling for the stretcher. Now, at that point, the umpires should have called the game up, but they didn't see it. In fairness to the umpires, they had their backs to it. Now it's a Central free kick. It's against McIntosh. He's trying to rough up Potter. Now, on the bottom of all of that is Peter Green, who appears to have a knee injury. What a bad blow for the former Swan and Blue. He's had a pretty good season with the Bulldogs. We'll watch how it happens. He fumbles. That was the problem. Missed the mark. Went down on the knee. Oh, there's the problem. You can see that he was in trouble right at the onset.
Didn't look to be a huge hyperextension with that though, so just with a little tweak of luck he might be all right.
Might have just jarred it.
Looks more like a jarring than a tear, doesn't it?
He's pretty tough, that fellow. I don't know that he'd go down in that level of anxiety and pain if it wasn't a serious one.
You don't see that very often, do you? An injured player lying on the ground and the play ends up right on top of him. And thankfully you don't see it very often. That ball has held up like it's hit a brick wall, and Tyson takes it to the half-back. Hands off. They can't allow them to run like that. Fleming, a row. And now the rocket Maynard from right in the pivot goes towards half-forward. Russell is there. He's doing some wrestling work. It sneaks out the back. Taken by Reed. That Bulldog defence is on red alert now. They need to close it down. They've got one spare at the front. Quick kick forward. Is the whistle gone? It must have. Free kick to the Bulldogs.
The push. Tim Pfeiffer said it was on Scotty Lee. It's a battle of the defences for sure.
Very experienced Scott Lee. Very cool. Does not panic.
Right now you'd have to fancy the Bulldogs. They've done the job, haven't they? 21 minutes into the first term, and Norwood with a 5-goal breeze.
Goes long. Miller. Beautifully taken off the pack by McGowan. Throws one to his left. Schwert has just come on. Now Stephen Rowe needs to get into it. On the left. Straight down the throat of Potter. Macca not having a big influence on the game thus far. And the Doggies players very loose. And that ball hits Jared Cotton right on the chest.
It's a pretty good mark, this. This is a real good one under enormous pressure.
Ingerson, the competition from Fleming was on. There are 3 Bulldogs, all out of their kennels and working very hard. Stephen Schwert hands it across the top. That's great work by Clements. Even though he gave the free kick away, they were desperately outnumbered, and that ball would have carried the line if they'd got it out, so not a bad free kick to give off. Anthony Ingerson, the man who gave the McGarry medal a fair shake to within 40 metres of goal. From the front, Cook. A magical 4 last week, including a great goal in the last term to keep the Bulldogs in it. Fleming, Miller. It's tough in there, isn't it? Very tough.
On both sides too. It's not as if you could say, well, Centrals are harder at the ball than Norwood, or Norwood are harder than the Bulldogs. This is dead even. Lurs is really trying to unsettle Primus. He's just thrown a few loose ones, just trying to intimidate the young ruckman.
Maynard over the top of the ball. Bolted up again, and the Bulldogs skipper Roger Girdham, when he goes at the ball, 100%. And this match telecast through South Australia and the Northern Territory, live from Football Park.
Primus still got another kick backward of the play. Pushes it across the face to McCormack. And speaking of toughness, McCormack versus Girdham. McCormack gets up and then thumps it from one end of the square to the other. Look at that one carry with the breeze. 60 metres it carried, spoiled forward. You think McGowan doesn't look any better in the middle of the ground? The structure looks much better. McKinnon, tough one to take. Don't blame him for that. Rowe comes from the ground and then puts a wobbly little torpedo punt down. That ball from Reed missed the mark. Arnold's quick kick to the far side finds Healy. A little one-on-one contest out there. James comes in late, and Healy gets the kick away, but the pressure was very good from James.
What a battle that is. 2 young tyros, certain to be drafted, both of them, at the end of the year.
Paul McCormack, recruited from the Carlton Football Club this year, just hands over the ball. Roger James it was that pushed Healy into that error, will take the kick. 24 minutes in to this first term, the preliminary final. The Dogs doing extremely well. Stephen Rowe can't bust the pack. The crowd say that's holding the ball.
And Michael, I can tell you that Peter Green is back on the interchange bench to a warm round of applause by Bulldog fans. So perhaps that knee injury not as serious as we might have first thought.
Over the top was Huey Romas. Tyson throws it to the head of the square. Reed can't get it. And backed up off the ground, couldn't do it, but he backs up beautifully the second effort. Pushes it towards the boundary line. Well done, Brian Hereda. And Conway says, thanks very much. We'll take that over the line, and there'll be another throw-in.
I'm not so sure about Central into the breeze having 2 talls up the front, and Alan Stewart's made that decision, the Central District coach, but you just think that when it gets down there against the breeze, they're a little bit top-heavy with the 2 down there, Ingerson and Conway. Anyway, meantime, it's with Growden. And another foray goes astray.
Pressure at the midfield is terrific, isn't it, on both sides? The forwards are the players who are going to struggle today.
They are. Growden had a little bit more time than he thought then. Could have just settled.
The point I was about to make, Michael, is that one side, if they can just get one forward to kick 4 or 5, can break this game apart.
I think that's been the case throughout the final series and indeed most of the year. And Scott Hodges next week looms as a problem. This is Reimers, good mark at halfback. And a good-looking kick. Has a look at Schwert. Maynard's there, won't be beaten in the air, particularly when the support was there from Clements.
Centrals have been very disciplined. Both sides of the ground, they've played the boundary line. Conway comes off. Abbott comes on for his first run of the year.
Yes, I think that change was there because they just had too much height up the front. They put a runner on there instead. Into time on by 30 seconds. It's tight, isn't it? 1-2 plays 1-1. And in the middle there, Alan Stewart and Peter Jonas is the runner. Former Central District and North Melbourne great. Those shots coming from the outer. Peter Green in the middle. Flanked by Conway. This is Stevens. Cook has the responsibility in the absence of Jim Wynd. The ball once again holds up. Miller beautifully taken off hands by Cotton. Awkward kicking style, but still going to have a look at and find John Abbott. But gee, Fleming is very athletic.
So's Cotton. He's one player that has just arrived as a player. The last 3 or 4 weeks, he's just been outstanding.
Lures in ruck. Very clumsy attack on the ball. Wants a shepherd. And the ball ends up with Matthew Primus. Had a good first term. Goes long. Struggling across half forward, Norwood. Thrown out was McKinnon. Harvey can't control it. Beautifully done, Wakeland. Irving. Jack Girdham just goes straight in, hanging on. Clements with the ball. The advantage played. It's a beautiful kick to Reid. And that's a great pair of hands. A lovely lead. And Ray Windsor not too happy about that decision. 25 metres.
It's soft.
Well, it makes a difficult shot at goal, almost a certainty. There's a strong mark. Windsor goes down over the top of him, and that's what the 25 metres was for.
Reid directly in front. Oh, he's missed. It's a vital kick for goal. 27 minutes into this first term, and you've just got to drill sitters like that.
Reid got 4 last week. Remember, Robran got 3 in the first half before going off with an ankle injury. And if you've just joined us, Robran is out today with a fractured ankle. And there's some conjecture as to whether he'll play next week with a painkiller.
Arnold, tremendous take at halfback. 27.5 minutes have gone in the first term. And it's all tied away. Just 2 goals scored. 1 goal and 2 behinds apiece. The Arnold kick has a look at and finds McKinnon. Not a lot of free-flowing footy at the moment. A little stop-start. There's been some toughness in the midfield, as you've seen. And the ball's holding up there for a specky if someone would like to get a ride. Girdham couldn't take it, and Miller finds the line.
Important touches, Miller, isn't it? He's been very good.
Well, his toughness is so important, and his presence at centre half back that Simon Lewis back into the side today is going to have to earn every single kick.
On centre wing, Maynard. Bottle it up again, and when you're talking about inexperienced, you look at Norwood's side, they have some 17 players that have played under 50 games, and the Bulldogs 8 or 9. So not a lot of experience. We've got McIntosh, over 300 games, marshalling the troops. A bounce down. The legs, they need another one. Good hands from Growden to Russell. But in front, Arnold.
He's playing that kick behind pretty well, isn't he?
And the siren goes to end the first term. The Bulldogs 1-2-8, dead level with the Redlegs.
And I think Gallagher Stewart would be pretty comfortable with the Bulldogs kicking into a 4 or 5 goal breeze. They've got scores locked away, and I think they frustrated Norwood's attacking efforts. The midfield of both sides were sensational. The battles in the middle of the ground were very, very hard, and the body clashes have meant that there's been really very little free-running football at all.
Yes, tough and tight, and the next 3 quarters promises to be just the same. So on ABC Sport, at quarter time of the preliminary final, it's all tied away at 1-2 apiece. Hit down by Primus. once again, and he is a problem child for Central District. 10 seconds into the second term, and Matthew Primus has 10 hit-outs, 8 possessions, including 3 marks. So he's really doing his bit, as he has done all year for the Redlegs. Central District, can they use the breeze to affect this term? Sam Smart, would be a wonderful start for Norwood if they score one straight away into the breeze. Reimers missed the mark. Great smother. A courageous smother by McGowan, but it's not going to stop them though. The handball and the reflex is pretty good. McCormack pops it up. It's a tough one to take. Wakeland couldn't do it. Irvin. Oh, got through 3 or 4 Bulldogs and did it far too easily. Now they're down there 2-on-2. Stevens from the back shovels it forward. Arnold. Looks like he's picking Primus up now, which wouldn't be a bad move. Rowe round the body. Harvey. Oh, it's pretty desperate in there. Hereda should go for holding the ball and is very lucky.
The umpire said it was held to him. Had no opportunity of disposing of it. Let's see. He spun out. It was pinned to him. And the ball came out in the tackle. That's fair enough.
That looked like a good tackle to me.
Sam Smart doing a lot of good work in the air and on the ground. Now he's called holding the ball. Well, he said he had a chance to get rid of it. Kim Russell will take the kick.
Well, the previous one, the ball came out in the tackle, so therefore he couldn't have given him holding the ball that time. He had the opportunity of disposing of it.
A very important shot for goal. 30 metres out, directly in front. Well, look at that hold up there. It's not going to even make it. Well, it didn't. Ray Windsor right on the line has just punched it through. Not a bad start for the Redlegs. 2 minutes into this second term.
You just wonder how strong that breeze really is when a player can't make the distance from 25 out. I think it's a bit stronger than 4 or 5 goals.
Windsor, a little chip to himself, and that ball's carried, well, 100 metres from goals. McCormack couldn't get on the end of it. The central structures are right. They sit back. McKinnon this way and that, weaves it, gets it around the body. Clements is having a keen old duel down there with Potter. A couple of Redlegs after old Craig Potter. Schwert on the far side. And a couple of former Crow teammates, Maynard and Schwert, see it across the line on the far side. 2.5 minutes in, the crowd's on their feet, and Norwood are in front by 1 behind.
Primus gets his hand to it again. McIntosh just wraps up McGowan. It's tough and it's tight. Clements, the ball thrown out, throws it onto his boot. The contest going the wrong way was Maynard. Nearly a fine grab. Rowe, let's just get it and kick it. Brian Hereda will wrap it up. Now the play on McKinnon. Doesn't he give some rebound from that half-back line? Goes straight down the middle of the ground. A beautiful punt from Fleming. Now the Crummers. Cook. He kicks a few goals every week. Spins out of trouble. Drops the ball as Lures. And Tokia can't get rid of it. And we've seen probably 10 to 15 ball-ups already. We'll probably see a lot more.
2 great efforts by Tim Cook. He just held himself over the top of the ball, got out the handballs to Lures, who missed it, and then he backed up again and created a tackle. So he's doing a lot of work down there.
So they made some errors inside half forward, the Bulldogs. Matthew Primus. It's a one-man show backward of the play with Big Matt.
He's getting a bit of support from Miller.
Bounce down is 25 metres from that goal, the Bulldog goal, right into the danger zone. Dan Tokia really took off the runner's head. It goes towards grandstand side. This is the quality of young talent in South Australian footy. James versus Healy. Good tackle by Healy, holding the ball on Maynard. Great tackle.
Well, the umpire said that Maynard ducked out of the tackle and made no attempt. Watch him. So he just ducks his head, and the ball, well, it fell through.
A fair amount of polish, Healy. McCormack, not a lot of polish about him, certainly an amount of toughness. And Kim Russell gets it at half-back. Slotted very nicely into this Norwood side. Carries the ball a little and then kicks it 45 metres towards the midfield where Roger Girdham sweeps the back. Awkward kick. McCormack comes plundering his way through the middle of the ground. They share it up. Maynard, Harvey, McIntosh, Harvey, and finally Irvin, who's got one spare. The Redlegs have done it beautifully. Play of the day.
Just giving Gary McIntosh a knighthood. He just set it up. He called it, right from the moment Harvey had the ball, stood his ground and just called the whole play.
And Groudon is coming off the ground, limping very heavily. Todd Davey coming on. There is Groudon. He's got plenty of elastoplast on the shoulder, but the leg seems to be the problem at the present time.
There was some worry about whether he'd line up today at all with it, given that shoulder injury.
Reed missed a sitter in the first term. Shouldn't have any problem with this one. Kicks through the footy and kicks the goal. 5.5 minutes into the second term. Norwood race along to 2-3. Central are 1-2.
And that is an important goal, a very important goal. Structured by Harvey and McIntosh out of the middle. But Reed still had to finish it off. We were talking about injuries. Well, Simon Cowan, with a knee injury, couldn't take his place either. And this big fellow is going to be one of the keys.
Hands through the centre. Magnificent. Score the Dogs 1-2, trailing by 7 points, and Norwood 2-3-15. Davey just come onto the ground, throws it onto his boot in front. Again, the give. Harvey can't control it. Dives at the ball. Scotty Lee throws it onto his boot. Brian Herrera takes a comfortable mark. He's got the runner in Scotty Stevens. Throws it onto his right boot, but Dan Tokia just backs up beautifully, grabs it and plays on.
The Bulldog entries aren't with any purpose at the moment. They're just banging it up there along with the breeze and hoping for the best. Miller having a good contest with Lewis, and speaking of good contests, Healy and James. They can't keep it in. It goes across the line, and that player being worked on is Groudon. Not sure which particular part of him is being worked on at the moment, as he lies on the boundary line there underneath the dressing gown.
I think you'll find he's got a nice pack on his knee, Triggy. They put the dressing gown over him to keep him warm, and the ice pack will be on the knee underneath the dressing gown.
Well, they'll miss him because he's been very productive throughout the year. Oh, Maynard's limping badly too. Look at that. Rocket can't get a gallop up. Schwert can't keep it in. Goes across the line once again.
Well, we thought at the start this would be a game of attrition. Both sides playing tough, hard football. And you only need to get 3 or 4 injuries, and your balance is unsettled, and the opposition gets an advantage.
Ingerson v Primus. He's just got too much height. Davey. Going to be good from there, Todd. He is. Looks a little dishevelled, but nonetheless effective. Gets it towards Dan Tokia. Herrera, front spot, tremendous mark.
The Potter's still going with McIntosh, but McIntosh has had a couple of important touches.
Smart. Should have gone the punch. Herrera goes to Ingerson. Got that jump with Matthew Primus. And he does play the back wheels, the back play so well.
They could make the difference today. Marks like that really unsettle forwards. It just evaporates their confidence knowing that a big man's coming over the top.
Reimers, Herrera, now Gurdon, beautifully off the bottom of the pack to McGowan, throws it high to Stevens. They've got the run from Lee, and very wide is Cotton. Plays on from the 50, he's going to have a shot. It's going to sit from the back. There's a beautiful punch to Maynard, and Roger Jones will just watch it go over the line. Deep in the Bulldogs' attacking area.
A couple of calls for deliberate there. Now, the aggression and run, there's the Bulldogs' brains trust. Terry Moore, right corner. Alan Stewart, left-hand corner. I wouldn't be too pleased right now. They need a couple of goals.
Maynard squeezes it out. This guy is Stephen Daniels, and he's a class act as well. McIntosh takes it centimetres inside the line. A very keen duel with Potter to the middle of the ground. Davey sits beautifully for him. And McIntosh just weighted it perfectly. Ran a very, very long way, did Davey. Still got away with it. They've got one spare. Tyson, brother of Mike, handed off now towards Stephen Rowe. Kim Russell's in the box seat. Can't quite take it. Stevens did it pretty well. 3 on to 1 out there. Well done by Stevens. And Reimer should have gone for holding the ball. See, I had some gesticulations up here in the box. Everybody's going for holding the ball. Handed off by Lee. Gurdon, you're about to run into a truck. And he does. It's McIntosh. They play it on and they close it down on centre wing.
This is tough, Michael. You call for holding the ball back there.
Well, it's exciting. And he had plenty of time to get rid of the ball. As we said, the umpires in the holding the ball decisions have to be consistent. It's going to be exciting, isn't it?
This is tough.
Free kick.
This is tough, mean uncompromising football. I suspect that Port Adelaide would be very happy about this.
Lures to Angerson. Got both hands to it, couldn't wrap it up. Now Dantokia, will he come across the ground? Short to Maynard. Harvey's going to get run down. The handball straight to Gurdon. He's caught. And now the umpire says, holding the ball. Well, you cannot read it.
Well, the question is, did he have a chance to get rid of it? No chance at all, I'd suspect.
He had less chance of getting rid of that than they did down the other end about 10 minutes ago. Meanwhile, it's back on centre wing. Davey gets it around the body. Stephen Rowe, the spare one across the top is Russell. It's his lookalike. Legs pumping away frenetically. Gets it inside half forward. Wins of the box seat. He can't take it, but Reid does. Plays on. His spare one is Tyson. Sits and holds his ground, but Healy did it beautifully from centre wing. He worked back and picked off and read the play very well. Centre of the ground is McGowan. The game's alive at Football Park in the preliminary final, and he's got Lewis. Not enough football in Simon Lewis at the moment. He's made error after error.
Stephen Rowe took an awfully long time to get up in the hands of the trainers.
Yeah, Scotty Lee was in the area when Rowe went down.
There he is. Hands on his head.
Well, he won't like that, Simon Lewis. And there's been a suggestion that Michael Wakeland is the best forward that Central District has got. Certainly his last half of the season would dictate that. You wonder at the moment why he's not up there providing something. The ball squeezes across the line. At the moment they've got Conway and Ingerson up there, and I don't think it's working.
No, they're running into the same position. They're just running across each other. Maybe Wakeland and Ingerson, or Wakeland and Conway is a better option.
Potter over the top. Dantokia has the run of it. Cook harassing him. Schwert just throws it into the air. Backed up, Dantokia goes short. It's a lovely kick. Irving can't get it. And just jumps straight on the top of Wakeland. The umpire says, I'll have a ball up.
One of the stats that really won't show a great deal is that the smothers and the tackles and the blocks in a high number today.
12 minutes in. Good effort by Primus, just harassed in the last minute. And there's Nathan Irving standing the mark. Looks a bit sore as well. And Potter will take the kick.
Craig Potter, taken from the ground last week. Disappointing, straight into the hands of Primus, who lets it out the back for a rare error. He still manages to get his way through. Healy tried to clean a player up, got it back from Schwert. Well, we keep saying it, but it just is... Either side are unable to get a free-flowing piece of play, David.
Well, the centre line and Ruck Rovers are running back, congesting both forward lines. We won't see a high-scoring game today.
Well, they've crumpled up Matthews, Satin top. It's not really Satin, it's Lycra. Harvey, good reflex. Davey, Dantokia to Wakeland. It's about time they put him up the front. Evades the tackle, gets it around the body, but those 1%ers win games. Harvey, well done.
It's a 7-point ball game. Central need to be held, and here's the desperation. Terrific work.
Had 4 players, pat him on the backside, well done, gets the support. Good hands to McKinnon. McGowan's got the run. Schwert. Oh. Clements it was that just rushed in. Here's the leg from McKinnon, got an open goal, and as easy as you like, thumps it through for his first straight through the middle.
Well, the question is how zealous McCormick was in the tackle. He just went at the man, and I think in his overzealousness, it's all come unstuck for him. He comes in here, crashes in, gets up. Now watch him come again. There he goes there, tried to take out Healy, and I think had he just held himself together, would have realised that McKinnon was the next option and he didn't have to take the body.
Tim Cook coming from the ground. That's a body blow. It doesn't look well.
Well, they're short on for Rovers now, aren't they? Jimmy Wynd not playing today with a broken leg. Tim Cook, the first Rover, heads to the interchange bench.
Not giving much away in terms of what's wrong with him, just going straight to the bunker.
Well, I'd suggest that they haven't got much in the way of priming, and might well have been the blood rule, just a little tiny bit of blood on the nose.
Coming up to 15 minutes into the second term, Primus is the man at the moment. Up against Arnold, who's a very tall man, but Primus every time getting his hand to the football. 2-3 plays 2-2, 1 point in it. And the little kamikaze gets it in the midfield, Roger Gurdon. A wobbly old kick. Conway has done nothing so far. You wonder about his involvement. Norwood are desperate. Oh, they've given a free kick away. Too high, and it's going to John Abbott.
He's just come onto the field. He's fired up. Just got a little arm from Jason Miller, and Miller can't believe it.
It was a little arm too, just quietly. Not much there. And on a day where goals were at a premium, they're very critical. It's a matter of whether John Abbott makes them pay. Tough, uncompromising Abbott. What about the skills? I think he's missed. So a let off for Norwood. But once again, at the 16-minute mark of the second term, the game is tied away.
Any side can get a quick run on 2 or 3 goals. It'll be decisive. Daniels. The umpire's going to call him to have a kick. Now goes short and kicks it straight out of bounds, much to the disgust of Paul McCormack.
He's an intense character, isn't he, McCormack?
But that's a bad sign, though. Start arguing amongst yourselves.
A kick from Cotton on the left. He might just swing that around. Well, he does, but he swings it straight back out of bounds, and he's just had to put it to the head of the square. You're never really going to kick it.
That's dumb, isn't it? As you say, put it 15 metres out from the head of the square and give them a chance.
Daniels. That's a better kick. Falls short and in front again. Primus.
How long can he keep going at this pace?
As long as Central's let him, I'd suggest.
The run from the defence is beautiful. Ends up with Dan Toki at the back. Is Tyson. The crumb to Irving. Can he control it? And Ken now goes short to Harvey. Gets crunched by McKinnon. Not a good kick. The crowd say it's in the back. Scotty Stevens. Score as you like to Lee. And Lee kicks it out of defence.
And Dantoki is back in the back pocket. So McIntosh, it looks to has gone back to the centre. And Potter's fired.
Oh, Healy, beautifully done. That is absolutely magnificent. Finish it off, Simon. Short pass to Ingerson, but Healy take a bow and centre wing.
All right, fellas, bet your life savings on this kick.
Look at this, amongst 3, rakes it in, and then has the presence to just pick out the player, lace out, and Lewis this time didn't panic and found a player.
Now, if there has been a criticism of Anthony Ingerson's game, it's his kicking, his set shot, particularly.
Well, make him play on.
Well, he has improved this aspect of his game, but this is a critical test.
To break the deadline. 18 minutes in, the Ingerson kick. Well, you heard David mention it's not his strongest point. He's missed.
The thing that worries me, let's just see what happens here. Healy just got the bounce. It just sat beautifully for him, and often in finals, you just need the ball to be bouncing your way, which it did on that occasion. Well,
the kick from Ingerson, he obviously just doesn't guide the ball down far enough. He allows too much error from when he leaves the hand till it hits the boot. The kick in. Healy from the back again just runs it over the boundary line.
And you can see the confidence growing in this young fella.
Certainly can play. One of those left footers.
I saw him at Elizabeth earlier in this year. Late in the 4th quarter, kicked 3 late goals on the run that were just gems, each one.
18.5 minutes into this second term. The League's defence under all sorts of pressure. Abbott kicks long into the head of the square. There's a free kick. And it is going the Redlegs' way.
It's against Lewis. He caught Fleming right in the back of the neck.
Going short. Oof. Well, he just ducks his head into the middle time, and Stephen Daniels to take the kick.
Primus just had a bit of a shot at him as he ran back, Abbott.
Ingerson at the back, Miller at the front. And another big pack of players. There's 1 point in it. And Norwood, in just the same way as Central District squandered the use of the breeze in the second term. Well, I think they have.
I don't think either side has squandered. I reckon it's just terrific defensive work by both sides to half-time.
Well, their entries have been haphazard into the forward line like this, just like this, and it sets up marks like that. And Miller takes it backward of the play. I agree with you to some extent. It's got something to do with the pressure, but they are panicking. Maynard looks to have come good, doesn't he? And they're just fiddling around with it now. They bring it to grandstand side, where Primus is up against 3, perhaps 4 Bulldogs, and one of them is the very classy Daniel Healy. Look at this for a mark. And 25 metres, and now Healy's within range. Very costly.
Well, what was that for? Did you see, Michael?
No, didn't David. I don't think they give 25 for back chatting. So I think it must have been just a bit of a push or a shove afterwards.
Looked very much like Primus had put the ball on the deck, didn't give it straight back to the player. Guess that's how Neville Roberts saw it, as Healy has a look. Right post, does it come back? I'll do that again if you can. Right on the top. You could try that 500 times and not do it.
Did I, Dick?
20.5 minutes into the second term. 2-5 plays 2-3. Oh.
Norwood nearly messing around. And Maynard, a short kick from Dantokia. Well, it was nearly on. Good work by Girdham. The handball over the head. So in defence again. Craig Barham ready, just doing a bit of warm-up.
And so too is Tim Cook in a different jumper, so obviously there's some blood on it.
Dantokia goes wide. We've got Miller. One hand was Ingerson all the time in the world. McCormack just bullet straight through. Well done, Paul McCormack. So Clements can't handle it. And Potter, beautifully done. And the kick isn't as good. Straight to Miller.
Ingerson's out to centre half forward. Schwartz off, Cook's back on.
Davey has come onto the ground in this second term. Growden off. It looked like a leg injury.
Might have been just a corky, Growden.
It was wide to Smart. And at the back, all central districts, McKinnon. Around the body, straight down the throat of Michael Wakeman.
Get the feeling, don't you, that one side, if they can get a bit of momentum up and get 3 or 4, they'll crack the game open. Primus attacked the football, and Irvin just toe-poked it, did it very poorly. Abbott always has a go. Great shepherding by Healy, allows some work in the middle from Cotton, whose handball missed the mark, and that's very costly because it's cost them a turnover. Tyson, awkward kick into the breeze, sees the boundary line. 2-6 plays 2-3. Craig Barham, the man Mountain, about to get back into action. Perhaps to come into the ruck. I wonder if they'll give Primus a spell. He's been so good. Be reluctant to take him off. Healy, another kick, albeit from the ground. Cotton. This time they'll get a clean entry. Abbott. McCormack closes and does it pretty well. Conway, so too Lures down there. It is Primus coming off as Healy sees it to the line.
Yes, they need to give Primus a rest. It's been a lion-hearted 50-odd minutes for him. And you just wondered whether he could have kept the tempo up.
The Bulldogs have had the play in their forward setup for at least 15 minutes of this second term. The legs have some good thrusts. Ooh, it could nearly have been a throw.
Alice Primus, 8 kicks, 3 handballs, 5 marks, and 15 hit-outs. He's dominating the air.
And there it is. A quick kick from Barham. McCormack with the ball. Stephen Rowe. Off the ground was Herrera. There'll be another ball up. And Potter and McIntosh at it again. And a free kick.
I think Macca got a flick in the face with a boot, maybe.
I wonder where Stephen Rowe's been for this first half. Pretty much gone missing. Miller stands at the back. Here's Cotton. Needs to attack the football and does so. Hands off to Ingerson. This way and that on the left leg and finishes. The Bulldogs slowly but surely starting to get the momentum up. 3-6 plays 2-3.
He's not bad on the run, Ingerson, is he? But Cotton reminds me a lot of Richmond's Matthew Rogers, you know. The way he's happy to just back himself in, just doesn't seem to feel the pressure. He picks it up and he really takes it on here and then draws the player and feeds it off to the running Ingerson, who on the run made no mistake. It's terrific work. Now Ingerson's at centre half forward. He's amongst the play now, and that's making a difference.
The Bulldogs by 9 points, 24 minutes into the second term. Barham in ruck. James, when you get a quick, he does the give. Maynard provides the run. They're into attack. Goes short, looking for Reid. Beautiful. Irving, he's going to have a shot. Just inside 50. His left leg is going to hold up. And he's... No, it isn't! That is a magnificent kick for goal. Nathan Irving, his first.
That's the quick response that they needed, the Redlegs. There just would have been a feeling when Ingerson ran into the open goal moments ago that maybe they just had the upper hand. Davey was terrific. Look at the kick by Maynard. It was centimetre perfect. read the flat hands, and Irving roved it superbly amongst 3 Bulldog players, had the presence of mind to straighten up and deliver it.
Fair kick into the wind.
Great kick.
Into time on in the second term. Just 3 points in it. The Central boys still have their noses in front, but it's only just. 7 times Norwood have taken it out of the centre square now to Central District's 1. And that's hurtful. Tyson. The poise and the presence to get it up there, but it falls into the arms of McKinnon, who did it pretty well looking into the sun. To Windsor. And this is what I'm talking about with squandering opportunities. That's not really to anybody's advantage whatsoever, but Arnold's got a free kick. A soft one right in the middle. Kick from the side of the boot. Stevens is there. Harade is there. The boys run into each other. A little bit of panic from time to time out there. Another awkward kick, a tough one to take. Way up goes Daniels. Cook can kick goals from the left leg. This time is Australia. 4 points in it.
The Redlegs looking to play in the grand final and build on their 26 premierships. The Bulldogs looking to play in their first. Pantokia, short to Fleming, he'll play on. No, he won't. Conway to stand the mark. So they'll head for the boundary line. The kick's a good one. It's going to drop short, and Healy all by himself plays on. Oh, it's going to come round. No, it won't. He's had a fine game, Daniel Healy.
He's growing in confidence, isn't he? 11 kicks, 2 handballs and 3 marks, as opposed to James, his direct opponent, who's had 3 kicks, 2 handballs.
The kick again is not good. Cook just swamps on it and makes the Redlegs suffer his first, and the Bulldogs 4th.
Tim Cook has that ability, doesn't he? He kicks the miraculous goal. He kicked a great one last week when they were rallying home deep in the pocket. This one more regulation. Cotton stuffed up the nose. Obviously, he came off earlier with a blood problem. Changed the jumper, and here he is. Good skills on the left boot. 25 out with the breeze at his back, and that ball's gone right over the grandstand. Kentucky just got there a little late, and Cook likes it.
The margin out to 9 points. ABC Sport bringing you the preliminary final, and we're 27.5 minutes into this second term. Potter gets the break from 60. He could almost carry it. He puts it right up to the line and just offline. What value a centre square break? Mind you, it's in favour of the Redlegs at the moment, 7-2, but that's a perfect illustration of what the value is.
2 times since Primus has gone off.
Precisely.
Dan Tokia takes the kicking. He's got Bulldog players everywhere. Ingerson chips in. Now the loose player. Maynard all by himself. It just didn't get to him well enough. Russell's got the run. He's got Davey on the inside. The Redlegs, they work it on the far side. And McKinnon, the great player, short to Harada. They've loose players. Potter maybe shadowing McIntosh at the moment. Ingerson, can he control it? No, he can't. Dan Tokia, quick to James. James has got to get rid of it. He's going to be run down. All sorts of trouble was Clements. The Bulldogs harassing the Redlegs. Cook short. He's got Lewis, and he can't control it. Daniel's with him all the way. A quick kick, and for a minor score.
Lewis it was.
Do you think Lewis has fumbled the ball enough times today?
Oh, it's a bit hard, fellas. He hasn't played much senior footy in the last 6 or 7 weeks.
I don't mind what the reason is, David. He's fumbled the ball on half a dozen occasions when it's gone in there, and it's hurt them. Desperately. One clean take there, and he's away.
The Bulldogs, 14 scoring shots to 6. So dominating this second term, but can't put it through the big white ones often enough. Potter to Girdham. And the umpire says that was a throw.
McCormick has gone to a forward pocket for the Redlegs. You just worry about his fitness.
McIntosh. And the Redlegs got to work it to the boundary line. 29 minutes, nearly 30 minutes into this second term. The kick hugs the boundary line. Miller in front should take that. He does in a non-contest. nothing up forward. Maynard dropping back. Olivia players everywhere. Cotton. And now the legs, have they got a chance? Around the body was Harvey. Clements does the shepherding. And great work. Wakeland. The bounce doesn't favour McGowan. Now they've got the run through the middle. Potter's providing that again. He's going shot. Look at the kick. Straight down the throat of Simon Lewis. And that is direct.
That is one of the best kicks you'll see. Use the breeze intelligently. Now Fleming could do nothing about that. And Lewis with one big clean take.
I like the sly look, and that's the essence of it, isn't it? One clean take gives him a free shot.
Lewis. Lovely kick of the football right on the siren. The Bulldog supporters are happy. That's his first. And the Bulldogs go out to 5-10-40. Lead the Redlegs on 3-3-21.
Well, the Bulldogs with the breeze kicked 4 goals, 8, and you just worry about the bombarding of the goals, whether they just couldn't kick them a little straighter. 8 goals, 4 would have been a magnificent result. The Redlegs only got 2 goals, 1, but that was into the breeze. It was a fair effort, and they'll trail by 19 points going into the halftime break. Alan Stewart would be pretty pleased.
Yes, at halftime, 5-10 plays 3-3 on ABC Sport. The second half coming right up. Start of the second 60 minutes, and the Bulldogs have a 19-point advantage, but are kicking into a gale in this third quarter. Primus, the man who's done all the damage for Norwood so far, couldn't get a crack at it because Arnold had it falling into his arms. And I can tell you one thing, in response to that comment about putting Wakeland up the front, is that Conway's come from the ground, and the structure looks a little better for the Bulldogs with Simon Lewis and Stephen Schwert up the front.
Conway, no kicks, no marks, no handballs in the first half.
It's not a big impact, is it?
No, it's an easy move.
It is an easy move to make. Stephen Rowe puts the pressure on. Maynard, quick kick forward. Davies there and takes a good mark. Hands it out. The run is with Roger James, who was cleaned up in that first half by Healy. James can make amends, though, by kicking a goal, but he's way off beam. It goes out of bounds on the full.
At least they're looking like they're prepared to run forward, the Redlegs now. And a wingman having a shot for goal is a good sign.
So important for the ball to hit. Davey might have even had a shot himself. The kick in. Again, James screws it back. In the air, Reed can't grab it, comes to ground. McGowan. Just the chip over the top. Arnold will see it over the boundary line.
The fellas, Harvey's in the middle on McGowan. Now his second quarter was 11 kicks, 9 kicks, 2 handballs, 11 possessions.
They need a quick one, the Redlegs, and they need to make sure the Bulldogs don't score. That is holding the ball. No question about that. Umpire calls it back. Sam Smart just dragged himself off the deck, and Craig Potter did the job on Gary McIntosh and done it pretty well. Goes short. All by himself. There's Arnold. On the outer side. Right at centre wing. Here you see it, that holds up. Miller just crashes in there. And the Bulldogs, all they have to do is really just tight, in close, hold the balls up so they have another bounce, and listen to that outer roar for the Bulldogs.
Plenty of Elizabeth fans out in that far side, willing their team on. They gave them a rowdy reception after half-time as they ran out. Free kick, and 25 metres going Matthew Primus's way. Look at Primus holding that ball. It's like a tennis ball. He's got so much hold of it. Well done by Arnold. His opposite number sits back and takes it. A bit of pressure from Reed.
Had no one on the mark, Primus could have run another 15 metres.
Arnold's kick to halfback. Well done by Girdham to Healy. Just keeps it in play. He does have a touch of class, then kicks it towards centre wing where Ingerson does battle with Miller. Lures to full forward, Ingerson to centre half forward. Abbott, left leg searching, has a look at Stephen Schwert, who's lined up this term alongside of Lewis. No deliberate action there, and underneath the scoreboard that reads 5-10 to 3-3, the boundary umpire will throw the ball back in.
Right in front of the scoreboard, and the flags perched on top there. certainly fluttering quite wildly. The doggies with the movement. Cotton it is, throws it out to Cook. Cook is caught by Harvey. The Dogs, Clements, the quick kick. James it is, geez, they're tackling hard. Now it's Abbott, drives forward. Fleming, the one-hander. And hasn't he had a great year across half-back?
That's a great mark. He knew that he had big lures coming at him. Schwert was closing as well. Took great courage.
Clements to the midfield where Maynard is lurking. And Rocket's going to be an influence through the second half. You just have that feeling and that impression at the moment. Tyson got it from the front. Crowd's calling for a free kick. Nothing forthcoming. And after a shaky start, if I might make comment about the umpires, they've improved out of sight. Arnold gets it out to the far side where McGowan is lurking. They've got a spare player. It's Cotton. Can they make an impact? This time they can because Lewis has got it. Wrapped it up on the chest and took it 40 metres out.
Took a heavy knock as he fell and marked the ball too. Watch this. He goes to ground. Covered up pretty well. It's been pivotal in this match. They missed him a couple of weeks ago, didn't they?
Just over 50 games for the Bulldogs since moving from Brisbane. That's not a confident-looking approach. It just slides across the face, despite some Central fans getting excited behind the goals there.
Well, the breeze is very fluky. He would have been kicking directly into a teeth of a 5-goal breeze. Almost impossible from there to bend it back into the breeze and score a goal.
The run of the play, the Bulldogs, Dantokia, the clumsy kick forward. Miller can't take it, but in the back, will take the kick. The legs need to be decisive, straight down the ground. Dantokia in trouble. He's got the run of Harvey. Controls it now, they go wide. Reid is on the lead, but chipping in as a Raider. And Sam Smart, you have to get in amongst it. The ball goes wide, it'll trickle over the boundary line.
Well, that was a nothing kick.
Harvey to the centre. You feel as though there's a need there for Norwood to run off McGowan.
I would have thought that's the plan. Get somebody with real pace and exploit McGowan's lack of pace.
Into the path of Harvey. Speaking of pace, does have it, and he's the man we were just talking about, to Reid. Quick entries to the forward line make a lot of difference, particularly if you can carry the ball in there with some purpose and control.
I would suggest to you this man carries Norwood's goal-scoring hopes on his shoulders.
Keep in mind that the tractor, Chris Prime, is sitting on the bench as well. The Reid kick just slides across the face. The Central District see it through. It's getting pretty dark here at Football Park. I wonder if there's a shower or two along the way. 5-11 plays 3-4.
Should mention, Stephen, that in all matches they've played this year, nobody's got more than 4 goals.
Scotty Lee runs round Tyson comfortably, and McKinnon it was. Fingertip. Can't take that. So half forward line for the Redlegs. They need some goals. Rowe, that's better, on the left. Quick gift to Irving's on the left, but just butchers the kick at all the time. Normally pretty decisive with his leg. Puts it out of bounds on the full. We're 7 minutes into this third term. And the Bulldogs, 5-11-41, lead the Redlegs, 3-4-22.
Stephen Rowe, just 7 possessions. He's been well blanketed. That kick holds up into the breeze. Wakeland floats across the front. Well done by McGowan off hands. He looks so much better in the middle of the ground. Cotton across the top. Fleming. Now, if they were consistent, the umpires, that's holding the ball. He just laid on top of it and wouldn't get it out. Right or wrong?
Well, the rule is if you drag it back under, then you've got to get it out.
There's also a line there in that rule that says you've got to make an attempt. You can't just lie on the ball whether you drag it under or not.
Not even an attempt. If you drag it back under, you've got to get it out.
And
but if you go to ground with the ball and you can't get it out, that's a different thing. But if you go for the ball and you drag it back in, you must get it out.
I just think they've been a little inconsistent with it as Primus pushes it down. Once again, mind you. Plenty of activity on the boundary line as Macca comes in, the enforcer. Potter and Girdham there, and a lot rides on those two boys as they get to their feet. We're 8 minutes into this all-important third term of the telecast to South Australia and the Northern Territory from Football Park. We're into the third term and the championship term.
Russell with the ball. Rowe getting into the thick of things at the moment. Just can't get a clean take And the Bulldogs just keep bottling it up at the moment. 19 points in front. They can sniff a grand final for the first time, or a spot in the grand final. Plenty to go. Fleming off the ground. James had a good contest with Healy. Great give to Maynard. And that is a lovely take by Reid. Right on top of him was Windsor, and he took it beautifully.
Look how the ball came in. When the ball comes in like that low, now that ball is not lobbed in. It doesn't allow the defenders to set up and spoil. It came in no more than, what, 2 metres off the ground, and pretty well weighted the kick too.
Strong pair of hands, Ashley Reid. Will have no problems with the distance, and the Redlegs need this one. Will kick from 50. And he's kicked it magnificently. That's what the legs needed. 2 goals to Ashley Reid.
And we talked about Norwood's hopes resting with this man, but they certainly do. He kicked 32 goals coming into this game, and that's in 9. So he's done pretty well, and at one stage he got 22 from 3 to really make an impact and drive Norwood onto the finals. And that is a spectacular grab. They need more of that. They need him to be aggressive and call for the ball more. And look at the kick from 50. Dead in front, it didn't deviate.
Back into 13 points the difference, and we're nearly 10 minutes into this third term. McGowan, productive and influential as always, gets it to the half-back man in Reimers. 8 possessions for him today, only as far as Maynard, who's really starting to make his presence felt. Inside the 50-metre line, who's there? Smart, Reid, and so too Tyson. He wheels around, puts it back to the danger zone, no messing around from him. Wakeland, Reid and Rowe is at the back. And they see it across the line, so the central defence is under pressure.
You talked about Wakeland going forward, but I think he's done a pretty fair job in defence. He's been needed there along with Scotty Lee. They've been solid.
Football Park is the scene of the prelim final. Central looking for their first ever grand final, and the Redlegs looking for their 27th premiership.
Now that encompasses what's going on. McIntosh gets the ball, and Potter is right on his hammer. There's only been 2 or 3 occasions when McIntosh is able to be creative.
Smart and Arnold and Hereda. And the defender's best friend there is the boundary line. They won't find it this time. They wrap it up about 15 metres out from goal.
Well, this is what the Bulldogs did, didn't they, in the first quarter, when Norwood had the breeze. Sorry, Michael.
Chris Finneman in the crowd there, ex-Norwood player and premiership player of 78.
Thanks for that.
Norwood can't get it through. Reimers to Lee. It was Hereda actually, and Lee just trickles it.
Now, I was about to say that the Bulldogs in the first quarter played the boundary line pretty well. They just grabbed the Norwood players when they had the ball. They frustrated Neil Craig and his side. And Neil Craig right now, with last use of this breeze and midway through the quarter, would be very concerned they haven't pegged back the Bulldogs.
The boundary throw in again. Smart over the top. Irving just swamped by Bulldog players.
There's
Have
another
a look
example.
at Lee, Potter, Wakeland. They're tough and they're hard. Their defence has stood up pretty well for the whole year, hence the Bulldogs finishing on top of the ladder. Over the top is Brian Hereda again, and just knocks it out of bounds.
And Norwood aren't in a position here to finesse. They need to crack it back to that centre corridor and give themselves a chance, because Central and their intentions are very obvious at the present time. They're just trying to force it to the line, play this third quarter out, and give themselves a crack at the last turn. Cook has it stolen by Davey. A little shaggy is Todd Davey. And they dive in over the footy once more.
Now look at the congestion that the Bulldogs are generating back there. Now the Norwood runner's out and he's saying, fellas, get away, make them chase you. Look, now the Norwood players fan out. That's good coaching, Neil Craig. Make them chase you out of the area.
Games like this often get tagged unattractive, but it's actually a fascinating battle of tactics. As Hereda once again sees it to the line. Norwood have got Primus there. They need him to belt it back and perhaps get down amongst the play. He's sitting on the back play at the moment.
Triggy, we've been in this pocket from the 9.5-minute mark. We are now almost 13 minutes in. They've wasted 4 valuable minutes.
Surely have. McKinnon. Class act. Lee. And speaking of class acts, this is Healy. Always finds the target, and this time he's got the rangy man in Anthony Ingerson. Now Ingo will have a look. All that's on offer down there is Cotton. And so too McKinnon. Doesn't miss many in the air. He's playing a lone hand. Good mark. He plays it on. McGowan, left leg, has a look at Cotton at left half forward and finds him. In fact, it's Schwert. A little unfashionable. A little longer in the shorts. The long sleeve jumper and the socks are down. He puts it to within 30 metres of the goals. Lures. He'd really get a confidence booster if he could take one of those. Primus. They mess around with it. Daniels gets a quick kick forward. The pressure's now on that Norwood defence. Davey cops a heavy one and goes down and will have a bounce down.
One of the reasons that Abbott was brought into the side. Attacks on the ball and the man just like that. He is a tough, no-nonsense player. Centrals have got a bit of depth.
Tyson been quiet for the Redlegs. Reimers has done a fair job. Over the top was Ingerson. Cotton, quick kick, and Fleming. The quick handball to Miller. Now Miller goes long, but it's just going to come off. Oof! To Russell late with Stevens. And it may have been a 25 metre, but not to be on this case. Short kick. Doesn't come off. This is where they get in trouble. Not decisive at all. It might come off. Backs it up. McIntosh, great hands to Daniels. Now Irving. He's got on his left Rowe. Rowe's running without eyes on the ball. He may end up getting this. Pushes it out. Great backup by Harvey, but intercepted. A Raider has been fantastic. Stevens in front. It's 2 on to 3. And the Bulldogs, well, they just tied up again.
Well, it was great work by Kim Russell. It was 2 on to 1 at one stage until Russell got support. He was good enough to hold Stevens in and then just bottle up the ball when Cook was ready to run away with it.
Norwood bunker there. Up out of their seats and feeling the pinch. Craig Barn getting ready to come back onto the ground. 15 minutes have elapsed in this third term.
Well, where do you suggest he might go, Stephen?
I reckon he'd be lining up to take Primus' spot once again. Can't see any need for him down the front at the present time. McIntosh. Davey gives some ground, then pops up a high one. Really takes some marking this one. Her Raiders at the back, best spot, couldn't quite take it. Let it out the back. Reed, Harvey, frightening leg speed if he gets hold of the ball, can't do so. Stephen Rose in there. Healy, was it in the back? No, said the umpire. McGowan, Windsor. They've got one spare in the middle. It's McKinnon. He should be used, and he is. He gets inside, then gets a handball across the top to Gurdon. The runner's on. The little turbocharger from Windsor now left leg, fires away at the goals, but he's missed it. Maynard sees it to the line.
It was a good build-up, wasn't it? Windsor just didn't have the depth on the left leg. He was at full bore, and when you run from full back, that's what, 140, 150 metres. He just didn't have anything left when he got there.
Just more decisive, the Bulldogs. Their run from defence is exceptional. Clements to Daniels. The advantage played, but look at this. Should have wrapped it up McGowan, but Wakem all the time in the world will go short to the skipper. And that's too high, Matthew Primus.
That hurts.
Oh, won't worry Roger Gurdon, I can tell you, he is tough.
Well, the Redlegs are rattled, and that is a fantastic grab. Simon Lewis, well, the umpire hasn't paid it, but interesting to note, no one stood the mark from Gurdon's free.
Well, is this a mark or not? He holds it, he brings it to the ground, but it falls out as he comes down.
5-12, plays 4-4. 15 points in at Ingerson. Central have a bit more poise at the moment. You get the feeling they're rising to the challenge, and they're just starting to get a hold of the final and understand what it's all about. Tim Cook. Short pass is beautiful on Scott Abbott. You're right, Michael, that red leg defence is just a little rattled.
And Rodney Maynard off the ball. He's just saying, fellas, let's get on top of this. Now, a goal here will really hurt.
Hard running and accurate foot passing fractures any defence. And we've seen very little accuracy so far. It's very important for the Bulldogs that Abbott finishes this off. He's very deliberate and he's very strong. The Bulldogs get their 6th at the 18-minute mark of the third term. 6-13 plays 4-4 with Abbott's first.
We had a little chat at half-time amongst ourselves, and we thought, look, this game is so tight. Norwood could come out and kick 3 or 4 goals and get right back in the hunt. But if they let the Bulldogs just get up for 1 or 2 goals in this term, it would be near impossible to come back. And look what's happened. Just one drop in concentration, and Abbott falls into the hole and drills it. That'll give you an idea how they feel about him right now, the Redlegs.
the Bulldogs. The chant goes up. McKinnon has played well, great hands. McGowan too's had a good day. The Bulldogs just keep pushing it forward. They're just a little bit more intense than the Redlegs at the moment. Neil Craig, a little bit worried there.
The margin's blown out to 21 points now. It was only 19 at half-time, and we're nearly 19 minutes into the third term.
And the Bulldogs to come home with a 5-goal win. They're playing with confidence. McGowan caught. Rowe. Can he do anything? No, he can't. James has been a great contest. The crowd say holding the ball again. So the Bulldogs, their tackling and their commitment is first class.
Jimmy Wynd sitting there on the central bunker with that broken right leg. Bad news for the Bulldog Rover.
Craig Baum has gone to half forward. Herrera's picking him up. Cook couldn't quite get a clean leg to it. McIntosh to Tyson. Tough one to take once again. Great courage from Ryan as he's given the free kick away though. And Harvey with that right quadricep, very heavily strapped, is going to get a free kick. Short pass. Norwood fans urging their side on. Roger James. Short pass, Davey, and he's got him. Davey will have a shot from 45 metres out on the tough angle, but the Breeds will help him.
They need more from him. 5 kicks and 7 handballs, 11 possessions. They need a lot more.
Davey from 40 to 45, critical kick. Pops it up in the breeze, gives it every good chance. It just slips across the front. And Central breathe a sigh of relief. 6-13 to 4-5, 19 shots to 9.
Been a pretty good pickup, Abbott, since coming across from the Eagles, but they need more from their running players, the Redlegs.
McKinnon just takes it inside the line. And one of the half-backers for the Bulldogs that really do create is called to play on. Herrera gave it to him flat-footed all the time in the world to pick off Scott Stevens. He'll be enjoying it back in the league company. The bounce favours McCormack. Being a bit quiet. The handball is straight to Wakeman or any one of 3. That's not a good kick. And Miller to Rowe. Rowe goes over the top. He's got Tyson. He's going to get swamped. Back to Harvey. Inside. Beautifully done. Primus goes long. Over the back is Craig Baum and takes a magnificent grab. The old boy of the Norwood side.
Well, that's Tony Harvey's goal if Baum happens to kick this. He really worked it out. Miller and Rowe in defence. But Harvey created the 3 overlaps and really put his body on the line for the team. And it set up Primus to bomb that ball in long to Baum.
Baum should have no problems at all. He doesn't. He puts through his first, so the Redlegs hang on, and they go at the 5-5-35, still trailing the Bulldogs on 6-13.
Now look, watch the work here. Rowe with the terrific handball, the good vision. Now this is where it starts. Harvey won. Keeps going. Look at him. He's pulled off the ball by Ingerson, but Jeff Gain put himself on the line and really set it up. Ingerson, frankly, should have taken him off in the first instant. You just can't let players run past you like Ingerson did then. But Harvey was good enough to get around him and just set it up beautifully.
22 minutes into this third term. 6-13 plays 5-5. The Redlegs are on a surge. Here's McIntosh. They're charging forward. Another assault on the goal front. This time Reed's got it. And with 2 already, he provides a real danger in the middle of the ground. Harvey's crook. But Reed's got it 30 metres out.
He got collected at the bounce, Harvey. So obviously the Bulldogs recognise that a running player in the midfield can hurt them.
11. Make that 12 centre breaks to 2. Getting a flogging in the middle. Reed. Oh, you're at full forward. You're a specialist goal kicker. You have to kick them when you're like this.
It's 2 goals, 3-2 by the way. That's his return.
14 points down. You needed a return of a goal.
Windsor brings it back in. He's got McKinnon and Huey Reimers. So they're very tall across half-back, the Bulldogs.
He's been pretty solid today, Reimers, whether it be running or in the air. Along with Healy, they're good long-rangey players. That's a good mark too,
Cotton and Clements just makes him earn it. Very fine grab. So the Bulldogs go into attack. That's not a good kick. Maynard just takes it in front of the dugout. Had a pretty good game, Rodney Maynard. He's going to go long. They need another one, the Redlegs. McKinnon all by himself. It's just not good enough. You have to make the contest.
Well, he doesn't normally take a lot of overhead marks, McKinnon, Michael, does he?
Not renowned for it. More so for that bursting through the lines and kicking over another line.
Well, I was about to make the point. McKinnon, that was his 7th mark today, and each of them have been vital, aggressive, courageous marks.
13 points in it. Ingerson goes into battle with Primus. The very durable Matthew Primus has been very, very good today. Abbott gets it towards the line where Stephen Rowe doesn't even bother to keep it in. Just sees it across. A minute from time on. Rowe and Girdham. In games like this, the experienced heads win games. And those two, for example, will play a big part. Ingerson got over the top of Primus, put a hand on the shoulder, didn't give away the free kick. Rowe across his shoulder, not holding the ball and not a free kick for too high either. An old floater. Scott Lee, a tough one to take. Belts it to the boundary line quite unashamedly.
You just sense the Bulldogs know they haven't won a preliminary final ever. Alan Stewart on the bench. You see Jim Wynd, and they're going to fix it today, aren't they?
Just maybe. I think you're selling Norwood a bit short at 13 points the difference. Both sides have been able to score into the breeze. This game's a long way from over. Scott Lee takes it at half back. Holds up the traffic just a little and then finds the emerging best on ground player in Marty McKinnon.
Very prominent the last time these two sides met, were the Bulldogs in that first semi, winners by 4 points. A kick again.
That breeze is a problem. It's swirling around now. Cotton, who's not a bad kick, did exactly the same thing. And Marty McKinnon, I'd back him 9 times out of 10 to use the ball pretty well. So it's obviously a lot stronger and swirling a lot more than we give it credit for.
Into time on by 25 seconds. The legs into attack. Balm. Off hands is Irving. Oh. Ducked into it. And a good decision.
Fair enough.
Umpire.
Yeah, when you duck, you've got to be very good.
Ducked straight into the oncoming traffic in Craig Balm now.
You can kick this.
He will have a shot for goal. He's a very fine kick of the football. 254 games. Came to Norwood in 1984.
Premiership year. In fact, the last year, the Redlegs won a flag.
Let's ride it with him. Oh, it's come back. That is a magnificent kick of the football. Craig Balm's arms in the air. He's kicked it from 75 metres. His second.
When you're wanting a man in a big game to give you something, this fellow can do it. Now watch him. Just applies the tackle, holds him, lifts him up by the shorts, drags him, then says the umpire that's holding the ball, and the umpire agrees with him. And he goes back, he kicks this ball from 65, maybe 68 metres. It just gets there. It doesn't matter how you get there, it's still a goal.
Port Adelaide haven't yet determined an opponent. This game is far from over. Look at that. Just 2 goals each to Reid and Balm. The rest are singles. The game's alive at Football Park. 6-13 plays 6-6. Out it comes towards Tyson. He's going to be cut off by Reimers. 2 versus 1 out there. Healy, Tyson, he's good enough. Gets cleaned up in the process, though. It's tough out there. He butters up and does it very well. Kicks it around the body. A high one. Take that if you can. Right down the front it goes. The danger signs are there for the Bulldogs. Dan Tokia. Got all their very good players on the ball at the moment. James. McIntosh is in there, so too is McKinnon. What's happened there? A bounce down.
You wondered who got Tyson on the far side. Well, it was Scotty Lee who did the defender. And he just spun in time, otherwise it would have been a full frontal.
27 and a half minutes gone in this third term. If Norwood get another one, they'd love the quarter to go forever.
You just worry about that goal that they allowed Johnny Abbott to kick at the other end. Neil Craig would be just giving that Chewy a workout. And had Abbott not kicked that goal at the other end a few moments ago, the Redlegs would be a point down.
In ruck, that loose footy comes in handy. Oh, a throw called by the umpire on Kim Russell it was. So the Bulldog defence can take a breather. Play on. Goes wide to Hereda. Just playing possession football. Martin McKinnon in exactly the same spot a few minutes ago. Put it out of bounds. This is a better kick. Primus behind the punch. Harvey can't take it. Beautiful give to McGowan.
kick.
And look at that kick. Beautiful hands, beautiful foot skills as well. Abbott. They need to hold him up at the moment. The red legs. Good kick. And Clements, the recruit from the Eagles.
And a pretty good recruit too.
He's done exceptionally well across the half-back line. So we're inside the 50 for the Bulldogs.
Alan Stewart, Peter Jonas, Jimmy Wynd on the bench.
And the little Professor Alan Stewart's going to have his work cut out at three-quarter time, because the Redlegs are breathing down their throat. At three-quarter time on ABC Sports, 7 points the difference. Central District is 6-13 and the Redlegs are 6-6. Right in the centre of the ground. Arnold's going to once again do battle with Primus, and keep in mind there are 13 centre breaks to 2, largely due to the Primus influence, favouring Norwood. Abbott on centre wing.
We might mention, Stephen, that it was the Bulldogs who ripped Norwood out of the finals last year. Remember the first semi-final? They pulled them out by 4 points.
Turned the corner, didn't they, after 22 years without a final? A final win, that is. Reimers around the body. Now they're on the threshold of their first ever grand final. Someone's hanging on to Maynard, and he's got a free kick.
Well, you've got to get some lucky ones, and that was one of them. Maynard goes short to Stephen Rowe. They've got to move it on quickly. Craig Barham wants it. Now get there and get in front. Barham's going to come from behind. Does the punch. Irving caught. Beautiful tackle. Just don't reward those that put their body on the line and do the tackle. Around the body, James just didn't want it. No talking. Now the Bulldogs. Scotty Stevens kicks it long and high and in front. He's going to grab it. Simon Lewis just falls out. Abbott quickly onto the boot. It's floating. And over the boundary line, deep into their attacking area.
And there's another factor that's just emerged. The sun has come out, so the Redlegs, when they go forward, their forwards will be forced to take the ball with the sun in their eyes, and that is a very difficult proposition at this time of the year.
Big Mark Conway back to full forward for the Bulldogs. Not so sure about that personally, coming off cold. And McCormack looks a little sore, doesn't he? 6-13 to 6-6. In about 27 or 8 minutes, we'll know another grand finalist. I wouldn't write Norwood off, albeit kicking into a very strong breeze. They're a good outfit. The Central District will just be keen to get across the line. Maynard. Plenty of experience there. Wouldn't like to have my head there, quite frankly, but they're going to have a bounce down. Possessions for Rocket. 30 metres out from the Bulldog goals. Abbott doesn't deviate, gives it away, generally to the benefit of the Bulldogs. Maynard, Stephen Rowe shrugs the tackle and away he goes.
And kicks to touch and nothing up front.
That was a pretty intelligent kick in the finish, wasn't it? It was the only option, the only real option.
This is where it's going to be difficult. They need to link up through the midfield, get a couple of handballs together so they can push deep into their attacking area. Ingerson gets in front, does it well. Miller on the back play. Straight through. Can get it out. No, he can't. And your heart...
Well, he's felt for the hamstring too. Is he all right?
In your mouth. Oh. When you see the umpires. And Stephen Schwartz hasn't had a big day. Spent most of the time on the bench. Ray
Windsor's coming off from full-back. Wakeland will go back to full-back.
Primus around the body. Arnold doesn't take it. There's a chance. McIntosh can't glove it. Now he does. Well, he somehow gets that out. Davey. They're on the run now. Harvey goes to Russell. It's a beautiful flighted kick. Magnificent kick. And Kim Russell will take it on centre wing.
This is where the Bulldogs ruck rovers need to get back quickly. Stevens did the right thing and put Russell to ground just to give the defenders a little extra time.
Yes, he did. He slowed it up. Scott Lee's there. Just enough experience to squeeze it inside to where McKinnon is lurking. Gets it back to the agitator. Little sidestep, a shake of the hips, and then dispatches the Norwood player. Stevens gets inside. Favoured left leg, centre wing. Magnificent scene at Football Park inside half forward. Maynard, 2 bites at it. The umpires are becoming involved, holding the man.
They said he was interfered with, going for the mark.
And McCormack's going to get it. The Norwood players are a bit confused, so I think we're entitled to be. 17 possessions for Maynard and 11 for McCormack. This is Stephen Rowe. Watch out, because the little terrier will get hold of you. That's Gurdon. Gets around. McGowan, beautifully done. A finger tipper on centre wing.
He's had a fair job in the middle today, hasn't he?
Well, he's back where he knows it best, I reckon. The catalyst, the distributor right in the middle of the ground. Primus, his impact has been blunted in this second half. Still good enough to get away with it. That's a great piece of athleticism, isn't it, from the big bloke? Gets it away, middle of the ground. Russell to Maynard. It'll go across the top to Harvey, and away they go again.
Harvey, quick hands. Primus, he's gone. And the umpire says you threw the ball. So they started to attack. He goes wide, Stevens. Brian Herrera can't glove it. Just a handball as easy as you like. They've got the loose man. Back to Herrera, he'll go long. In front is Lewis. Fleming's done that well all day. Punched Rowe. All by himself is Russell. Now Russell can go for a run. Got to get some support over there with Barn. Provides the lead. Beautifully contested. But the Bulldogs are up to it. It's tight and it's tough. Thrown out by Schwert. Gurdon leads in the race. And that is legged. No, it isn't. The umpire calls play on. McIntosh. Dantokia around the body, going nowhere. Sitter is thrown out. And the umpire's seen that. Kim Russell, you can't do that.
Stewart's applied a pretty good tactic back here. He's got Damien Arnold playing a loose man in defence, making sure that the Redlegs don't get a run on. Pretty good tactic about this time. Of course, at the other end, you've got big Matthew Primus, who's playing that defensive role for Norwood as well. So, not a bad move by Alan Stewart, just making sure that he bottles it up.
Roy Laird getting organised to come back on. It's the blood rule, fellas. Blood rule enabling Roger Gurdon to come off the ground, and he doesn't have to wait till he's all the way off. Laird comes on. They'll be pretty keen to get Roger back on there. The skipper, they'll just have a quick look and see if they can tape him up. In the meantime, the ball is with Scott Lee on the far side. His kick falls right into the arms of Matthew Primus. 6th mark for the day. Arnold at the back, spoils it away right to the front. Norwood have got one spare up there, but that kick was very indiscriminate. Falls into the arms of Reimers. To Stevens. Perfectly positioned on the left-hand side. Look at that for a kick. 60 metres. Whack, straight out of the gun barrel. Ingerson's got it. He won't be allowed to play on because it's a mark and not a free kick. Unintelligent supporting if they think that's going to be allowed to play on. Plenty of booing going on, but Ingerson always had to take that mark. Torpedo punt, little ambitious, Anthony. From the side of the boot, they could have been lucky, but a Norwood player's got a free kick. And just looking downstairs, Roger Gurdon went straight down the race.
Free kick to McCormack. It was a beautiful whip and shoulder. Whether it was more than 5 metres away can be questioned. Oh, what a decision!
That's it. That was it.
That can kill a side. Cotton, number 1.
What terrific anticipation. Now, McCormack isn't well, we know that. He went to the forward pocket earlier, and the kick was of a man who's not well. It was just going through the motion. Cotton was good enough to read it. Fleming desperately lunged an arm and tried to punch it back from where it came, but Cotton is an athlete. He pounced on it, and look at Jimmy Wynd. The broken leg and all. That wasn't a pain grimace. That was a cry of elation.
8.5 minutes in, 13 points of difference. Sooner or later, something had to crack, didn't it? Spoiled forward by Arnold. They've just grown a little bit extra this time, the Bulldogs. They've got that scent of next week in the nostrils. And that's a little bit lucky for a Norwood player, Jerry Dantokia, at the bottom of the pack as well.
The Bulldogs haven't won a preliminary final, Triggy. Not in 4 attempts anyway.
And neither side have a good record in terms of preliminary finals. Central, I just felt during the week that whilst they're not all across the line yet, that they really feared being embarrassed if in fact they got bundled out in straight sets.
Well, I think they're sensing history. This, if they get through today, will be their first grand final ever in 31 years of the club's history.
Can't afford to take the foot off the accelerator, though. Not with big guys like Primus around to make a mess of things. This is Rowe. Dubious tackle, looked like a rugby scrum job. So I telecast to South Australian and Northern Territory viewers from Football Park. This is the Aussie Football Show. Hope you're enjoying our coverage, and indeed can join us next week for the grand final on ABC TV Sport. Reimers from halfback. Tyson to his lookalike Davey. The long locks, the shaggy locks flowing. Inside half forward, Scott Lee's got all the experience and gets a lucky one.
Equaling the agitator, today he's been the Terminator. He really has thrown his body at a few and intimidated a couple. That's for sure.
Lee goes to Wakeland. It was all by himself. Primus forced to do it on the ground as well. They bottle it up again. So we're 10 minutes into this final term. Roy Laird just hugging the ball.
Roger James has had a tremendous season for Norwood, but Healy's had him shifted off him.
Yep.
McIntosh and Potter.
Potter's been picking him up all day. Frustrated, Macca.
Shepherding, says the umpire. That'll go to Arnold, and Craig Baum lets the umpire know he's not very happy about it. The doggies sensing victory. Ingerson, they're running. Cotton, the man that intercepted. Now McCormick. They go to Reed. A one-hander. He's too far out. He's got to play on quickly. They've got nothing up forward. Baum creates the lead. Potter chips in the punch. Caught. And it hurt. Rowe throws out to Dantokia on the left foot. Swings it around. Can he get... Oh, it's the post. Well, they're not giving up the legs.
You wouldn't expect them to. They've not been renowned for that all year. Their fighting spirit this season has been unquestioned. And Chris Prime, a late use coming on. Now we're 11 and a half minutes in the final term, and the big man gets his first run.
Scott Lee has a look at Wakeland on the far side. It goes out the back, and then it goes to the line. Now, we've been a little critical that Wakeland hasn't been at full forward during the day. But Central District, the one thing I will say for them is they have got tremendous versatility, and when Ray Windsor went off, Wakeland was a Monty to go back there, because he played the first half of this season at fullback and did it very well. McGowan. Cook. Quick kick forward. They've just got a little bit more confidence at the moment. It gets out the back. McCormick would be desperately keen to make amends for that error just a couple of moments ago, and it goes across the line on the far side. 12 minutes in, 7-13 plays 6-7. There's just 12 points in it.
It's a sad indictment, but your career can be judged on one kick, McCormick, and that's the thing he'll be remembered for most this year. And coming off, Roger James. Chris Prime comes on.
Round the body is Harvey. Been close to Norwood's best. Scotty Stevens belts it into the forward line. A great punch from Fleming. He's done a good job back there. Daniels leads in the race, got no support, just kicks it along the ground. It'll trickle out of bounds. So Neil Craig ringing the changes at the moment. He's taking Prime to full forward, and Reed coming to a half forward flank. The throw in. Primus has done a man-mountain of a job. Healy backed up his Abbott. Good hands. They've got players everywhere. Cook provides the link again. Goes to the head of the square. At the back, the bounce hasn't suited. Cotton's got it. He's wrapped up. And another ball up. 15 metres out, directly in front of the Bulldog goals.
A couple of pensive looks there on the Norwood supporters. And speaking of pensive looks, Philip Gallagher just on screen there at the left, Michael Flynn and Coach Neil Craig with the red sleeves. This is Matthew Primus. He's done everything right so far. He has tied a little from the pack, goes McGowan. Hurtful. The Bulldog centreman gets his first. And at the 13.5-minute mark of the last term, the Bulldogs get their eighth. They go to 8-13 to 6-7. That has made it hard for Norwood.
And McGowan's played at Bottler today. 13 kicks, 11 handballs, 3 marks. He's had 24 possession, and his 24th possession is a hurtful one to the Redlegs. Put it right through the middle. He's been stung by criticism recently that he's not a big game player. Well, I think you might have put that myth to bed here today.
The Bulldogs by 19 points. They can sense victory. Primus has done a fantastic job. Beautiful work by Davey. Too high. So the Redlegs into attack. Goes for Chris Prime. Beautiful punch from behind, and Healy, they're just a little bit more hard-nosed, a bit more skillful at the moment, the Dogs, and this man in particular has got plenty of that skill. Reimers, he's got pliers everywhere. He's going to go short to Abbott, will go over his head. Beautiful take. Cotton slips inside. No, he doesn't. He gets caught. McCormack throws it out. And Maynard, no support. Harvey it was.
Little piece of play by Healy down here was just fantastic. Wasn't in a position to be able to get it to the body perfectly, but just dribbled it along the ground and gave a teammate every good chance. 49 metres around by the time the throw-in gets served up. Here's Cook. Now he is one who's had one clean take, and it looked very much like he took it across the line. Norwood fans thought so anyway. It's gone across and through for one behind. 8-14 plays 6-7.
A few demons being exercised here by the Bulldog fans. There's Alice Stewart left of screen.
Well, they would have been pretty close to favourites coming into this game, surely.
They were 8 to 10 favourites. Norwood were even money, so it was pretty tight. There was no clear-cut favourite going into this match.
Norwood aren't done with, but they need a couple of quick entries and some scores to get some feeling back into it. McIntosh has gone missing in this last term.
When you look at the overall game, Stephen, those two critical decisions, one a kick out and the other one kicking a cross goal where the Bulldogs kicked 2 goals, has really hurt the legs.
Norwood won the toss. They kicked with the breeze. They weren't able to make the most of it. But then again, Central didn't in that second term either, and it's been tough and tight ever since. Just a little run on in that second term for the Bulldogs. Maynard. Primus, the link man once again to McIntosh. The feeling if someone's going to make something happen is going to be the Norwood champ. Harvey. They're going around in circles. Finally, the Central District toughness in their tackling has been prudent all year, and it's now starting to pay off also. But McIntosh not done with yet. Gets it up towards Davey, who stood his ground pretty well. Thought he could have been paid the mark. Not so. Irvin gets it out. Davies there also. The Central defence is desperately pulling the ball down. They've got a free kick.
Look, Neil Craig, you can almost hear a prayer.
Great effort by Scott Lee. Commitment. Davey with the ball, goes long. Prime can body him out. But Michael Wakeman just a little bit too quick for the tractor. So the legs put through a behind. They've kicked 2 behinds in this final term. And the Bulldogs, well, they've kicked 2-1. Roger James spent a little bit of time off the ground the last 5 minutes. Just about to come back on. The quick kick to Brian Herrera, another Bulldog defender who's played well.
Across the face of goals. Right out to halfback. Reid gets it around the body. Prime, if he could take one here, it'd give them a real spark. Irvin gets inside, but Scott Lee, redoubtable defence, pushes it to the line, concedes the point, but gives the Bulldogs an opportunity to regather.
Shows a little bit of displeasure too. Roger Gurdon preparing to come back on after being attended to down in the bunker, I suspect. And he might have gone down for some stitches. He took quite a while to come back.
Lee kicks it in. 17 points in it. He's sharing it up a bit. This is Craig Potter, whose shadowing role on McIntosh has been very effective. Finding some spaces now, aren't they? This is Stevens. His kick carries nearly 70 metres. The breeze is influential. Abbott off hands. He's also made an impact. He'd love to finish it off. Right leg, he's not going to. 1 behind only. 8:15 plays 6-9. We're 18.5 minutes into this third term.
Roger Gurdon, we believe, had some stitches in that forehead, as we suspected. He was gone for such a long time. Under the blood rule, he went straight down the bunker.
Irving looking a bit sore. Daniels with the ball holding up. Punch from behind is Ingerson. Maynard's done well. The short gift to Rowe. The bounce doesn't favour him. Lures. Gurdon just back on the arena. Short kick. Ooh. Primus. Ooh. He works hard. Does it. Caught. Gets the quick give. The legs are on the roll. And that is a magnificent tackle. Could have given it. And Craig Potter.
That is a super tackle, and Potter is injured. That's not good news. So too's McGowan. Primus ran through him a moment ago, McGowan, and he went down, and now Potter is injured. So the Bulldogs face a grand final next week with two of their key players injured.
Huey Rymans goes for Lewis, and Stephen Rowe had a bit of a dark day as Craig Potter still hobbling about to come off the ground. And Stephen Schwert. Free kick, Dale Fleming. The legs are off. Troy Clements. He's got short Kim Russell. They can't get a move on.
Interchange Stewart down there's just got his eyeballs rolling the game left, right and centre.
Short kick. Stephen Daniels made the lead. Play on, he does. Kicks straight to Huey Remus. The bounce favours Reid. Reid spins out of trouble. He's got James. Beautifully done, Arnold. And the umpire says that is holding the ball. And the Bulldogs have been tough and hard-nosed.
Sits on the interchange bench. It's Craig Baum. There's Abbott with a knee injury being attended to. Now McGowan is injured. Craig Potter with the knee injury. McGowan is injured as well, and so too is Gurdon.
Well, I think Roger's okay. He's back on with just a minor piece of cosmetic surgery.
Yeah, but if he's had 6 or 7 stitches, he may well have concussion. He's not going to tell anyone about it, though, is he?
Couldn't think so.
Skipper of the club. He's been a great skipper. He's going to lead this side, if they get up and win, into their first grand final ever in history. And you'll just gauge their reaction into the game, whether there's one more to go for them or whether they think this is their grand final, just getting there. We'll watch at the end.
Bounce down on centre wing. Still 18 points in it. McIntosh got it from Davey. Now inside half forward. The last chances are looming as Prime is outnumbered desperately down there. Hereda pushes it to the line very defensively and very intelligently. Football videos of either this game or any of the games that we've covered throughout the year, and there have been plenty of exciting ones. The ABC shop or 343-4601. This is Prime. Just came on a little late for mine. It's a tough gig, Michael, to get into the game this late.
Craig Baum, you wonder about his future, Michael. Would it be his last year? Will he go on for one more?
Well, you would have thought that he may be playing his last game.
You can almost see the decision
Very
being
despondent.
made there, can't you?
Off the ground. The Bulldogs in front. Russell goes short. Primus sidesteps beautifully. McCormack's come up. Goes short to Prime, but there's 3 onto 1. And another great mark. They have been superb to McGowan.
McGowan's been terrific, whether he be playing forward or back. Now it's in defence. He's taken some pretty important possessions.
Huey Remus it was. He can't do anything with it, but gets the support of Healy. And Roy Laird backs it in, 3 onto 2 again. And the Bulldogs, well, no doubt from here, the Norwood side, they've only kicked 6 for the day. They've got to kick another 3 at least. And one can't see that happening.
Dan Tokyo gets it inside, but not quite. Not much doubt about the Laird intention.
Now the Redlegs are already through to the reserves grand final. And we can share that South Adelaide beat Central in the reserves game today. So South will play Norwood in next week's reserves grand final.
And the pressure was on the Bulldogs always to get there because their 19s were knocked out yesterday in the reserves today. McIntosh, front of the pack. Done by Tim Cook. He's lifted a notch or 2 today in the absence of Wynd. Tough bounce, and a tough one for John Abbott. Does it well against 2 opponents.
The Norwood won the under-19 grand final yesterday, Michael. That's something to celebrate over Centrals.
Had a lot of players in that side that actually have experienced league and reserves footy.
Nathan Bassett was best on ground in the under-19s.
But the Bulldogs here, in control. Tyson had a quiet one.
Shocker.
And as has Stephen Rowe, who follows that ball across the ground.
7 kicks, 4 handballs to Tyson, not his most productive day, and not 1 shot for goal.
Gurdon, great skipper. Lewis in front, can't hang on to it. Cook is wrapped up by Miller, and Miller has been one of Norwood's best defenders. Tried hard, and unfortunately, with the drive the Bulldogs get from their midfield, very difficult to stop under the conditions.
Primus once again, for the umpteenth time, gets the hit out. Right up there to within 15 metres, and Conway, first possession. Have a look at the crowd, they're loving it. Well, those with red, white and blue scarves on are anyway. Sold him a bit short. He's had a couple of handballs, but this angle, you get a good ride of it with him.
No kicks, no handballs until then.
Beautiful kick, though. I suppose if you're going to have one late in the day, you might as well make it as good as that. Let's put it beyond doubt. The Go Dogs and go out Norwood. 9:15, plays 6-9, and we're just about in the time on.
And you suspect next week, perhaps a little drier, a little bit firmer underfoot. The conditions today, they're a little wet underfoot. They haven't suited the big man. But if it's dry next week and he can have a run at the ball like he did then, he could be a very dangerous player in the grand final and will certainly cause Port Adelaide some problems. The Bulldogs are home. Their fans can celebrate. They're in the grand final next week. There's no doubt about that.
The Bulldogs, 24 points in front. Primus has been a fantastic player for the legs. Smart's tried hard coming back from injury. Harvey again, plenty of touches. Chris Prime, Roger James on the left foot, no one in the square. It's going to hold up. Can Rowe get there? The bounce doesn't favour him, and I just have that sneaking suspicion that Stephen Rowe just not moving as well as he could.
For some reason, he's not his normal self. Doesn't have quite the same zip. A couple of metres around from the red leg goal. We'll have a boundary throw in. Palmed backward. Hugh Ryan is a revelation of the halfbacks, played very well. On the up from Cook. Bit of a fumble from Herrera, still enough time to get out of it, and Wakeland clears with the leg around the body. McKinnon, look at him, drops the clutch and away he goes through the midfield, does it very well. A searching left leg to within 30 metres of the goals. If Reimers could take it down, in fact it wasn't Reimers, it was Lewis, would have been the perfect finish for them. And they wrap it up in the middle of the pack. They can only be Bulldog fans, you'd imagine. For the first time ever, the Doggies are going to go marching into a grand final. Redlegs have been gallant. They're going to miss out on this one, though. And as it's been the case all year, the big three have done it so well. This is Abbott, under some severe pressure down there from the Norwood defence. And they see it across the line, 9:15 to 6-9.
Very despondent Neil Craig, sitting in the middle there, been at the club 5 years. Played in one grand final and popped to hiding from the Eagles. Davey around the body, just going through the motions at the moment. Huey Ryan is just straight over the boundary line of the centre wing position. We're 27 minutes into this final term, and the Bulldogs wait for that siren. You'll hear one almighty cheer. Primus, he works hard in the air and on the deck. He really has been the best big man in this competition all year. Roger Girdham just on one knee. I think he's praying about next week. The kick, not good. Schwert. James runs over the top of him. Stephen Rowe just comes in and barrels him. And another ball up, all account. Very weary is Roger Girdham. He's going to have another break. I don't think, yes, they will replace him, as you can hear the cheers from the crowd.
A sore hand, a little nick below the eye, quite substantial nick above the eye. He knows he's been in the battle. He'd have his mind on a grand final. Down goes Arnold, gets a free kick. So Matthew Primus has been magnificent during the day, but he's obviously a little frustrated. And Arnold swings it towards grandstand side, where Abbott is lurking, and John Abbott's done pretty well. 12 possessions, up towards half forward. McKinnon let it get out the back, and it cost him a possession, then pushed in the back, and a free kick. A little sloppy from Marty that time.
Todd Davey, I don't think that was quite in the back. Umpire was in good position. But Martin McKinnon creating the run from defence, and look where he is, right down across the half-forward line. Bombs it in. And there it is! And the Bulldog players rejoice. Unfortunately for the Redlegs, their season is over. And the final score, well, it doesn't really matter. Gary McIntosh, not a happy man, took out the medal this year, would rather have won it, but look at the Bulldog players. They're into their first grand final. Jimmy Wynd there, and fortunately the recruit from Fitzroy will miss. Abbott coming onto the ground. McGowan was superb. The back line was marvellous for the Bulldogs. Martin McKinnon, Healy, Scott Stevens spending some time in the back pocket in the reserves, now has a sniff or a chance of playing in a grand final for the first time in the club's history. There he is, getting hugged. Ray Windsor, the recruit, also Potter was very good, and they are very, very happy.
So mid-scenes of jubilation there. Very ecstatic group of Bulldogs down there at the moment. The final scoreline, Central District 9-15, Norwood 6-9, the margin of 24 points.